What up, hockey fam, and welcome to episode 73 of the Pucking Around podcast. We got a pretty good one for you tonight. Our topics will be expansion in Atlanta. Yay or nay? What do we think? You'll find out. The finals. Florida has Edmonton on the verge. Is it going to happen? We'll see. And finally, Chris Kreider to Anaheim. And is it Malkin's last season with Pittsburgh? Who knows? We will discuss. So welcome to this episode. And obviously tonight with me are my fine friends. And to the top of me, right up there, which I think it should be reversed because I'm in Canada. You're in the States, but it's okay. is Alex Fournette. What's up, buddy?
Hola, ¿cómo estás, Eric? How you doing today, brother?
Not too
He
bad.
speaks French, not Spanish, you'd think.
It's Canada.
Coming from the guy who's hiding right now.
It's Canada here. Remember that.
All right, and I'm gonna get. Oh yeah, that's right. To my
The wrong way.
no, the point of the pencil is pointing the right way.
Oh, okay.
I go with that.
Right there. That's Rick Seligman.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And
No,
last
that's
but
it.
not
I said,
least,
how's it going, guys? Get nothing. That's it. Dead air.
great. It's going great, Rick. It's going great so far.
Going great. Oh boy.
And last but not least, on top of Rick, we've got Matt Norton. Matt, how's it going?
Salut! Comment ça va, Eric?
Come on, what'd you say?
Comment ça va?
Comment ça
Ça va
va?
Comment
très bien,
ça
Matt.
va?
Ça va très
What you
bien.
say?
Yeah.
Okay. When you think about it, it's not that far from Como Sta.
No. It's all
I
Latin
got
based
crap
anyway.
for homo stars.
Yeah, but you're not in Canada. I'm in Canada, so I can say that. That makes no sense, but hey. All right. Let's get off this stuff.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
All right, so I guess we'll hit up the first topic. So apparently there was discussion about possibly having a team for a third time in Atlanta.
Yeah, three strikes you're out, or third time's a charm.
Exactly.
It worked so well the first two fucking times.
Oh yeah. It worked so well. We're gonna do it again.
Let's do it again. Now, I gotta ask a question: is this a sure thing already, or this is high speculation that it's?
They just got approval. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had just got approval to build the stadium.
Actually, I'd heard that. Yeah,
Stadium, and
there's been so much talk. There's been so much talk. There's smoke. There's fire.
And basically, that's the parameter that Gary Bettman wants. He wants a building, and as soon as there's a building built, so you build it, they will come, Rick.
If you build it, they will come for the third time. For the third time. Not in big amounts, but they will come. A little bit at a time, trickle in, and then you see what you got.
I just wonder what Canadian city is going to be available when they inevitably have to relocate again.
Quebec.
Yeah, no kidding.
Quebec's waiting. Quebec's waiting.
As an arena.
They're just like, okay, yeah, give it to them. They're gonna fold again. Just give it to them. That's how we're getting our team.
It's like they're setting like it's a better chance in Atlanta. I mean, is it really?
Well, what I've heard is basically because Atlanta's a huge market. Apparently, there's like all kinds of people there.
It is. It's probably the fourth or fifth biggest market in the country. So they're not wrong about that. The big issue with this is just you've tried it twice. Both times it didn't work. You had to relocate both times. I think, the first one was what, Calgary? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Atlanta Flames, and they went to Calgary.
Yeah, and then the second time was Winnipeg. Now the main question is, when this fails again after 7 or 8 years, which city is going to next? Quebec
City.
Listen, the big issue is this shouldn't even be happening. The league's adamant that they want to expand to 34 teams, be the first sport to go past the 32-team threshold, it seems like, for some weird reason. And again, this goes to my scheduling conflict and how much of a BS narrative it is, but whatever. Not going to get into that right now. If they are that hell-bent to expand so they can get to 84 games, what they should be doing is looking at markets that have not had the opportunity yet. Kansas City, Quebec City, Halifax.
City's had a team in the past.
Well, Quebec City had the Nordiques.
Kansas City had a team?
Kansas City Scouts.
No?
Scouts.
Kansas
yes.
City Scouts in the 70s.
Wow.
Uh,
All right. So a team, or in that instance, a team that hasn't had a shot over 50 years, you can at least talk me into that. Kansas City, Portland,
Houston.
Halifax, Quebec City. Hell, I'd bring back.
I think
the
Milwaukee
Hartford
would be
again.
awesome, but because
Where?
Wisconsin's a hockey is a hockey state.
What Wisconsin's perfect. Yeah, give me Milwaukee. That's another
How
good one right there.
How
If
does
you want to go
Wisconsin
down
not?
south, do Houston. At least Houston hasn't had a shot yet.
Yeah, Houston.
No,
Okay,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised Houston, not Houston, but Wisconsin. You would think with like it's such a big hockey state that they would have a team by now.
But this begs the question: why Atlanta? Why is Atlanta being brought up? Only because of the arena? That's it. That's all.
Like I said, I think it's because of the population. Like it's just such a big metropolitan area, and there's such a dense population.
Okay, so
like
they
Alex, I think
had
it's like the
that
fourth
dense,
biggest market in the states.
but they had that dense population when the Thrashers were there. So what's different?
Well, I think well, one is going to be expansion is totally different. I think expansion just works better the way it is now.
Well, what
Where
were the
it's like,
Thrashers?
But didn't they
Oh, you mean
expand the first
expansion
time
is
as the
different.
Thrashers?
What?
Sorry?
Didn't they expand as the Thrashers? As
Yeah,
West
that's but
Virginia?
Yeah,
that's
but
not
I'm
what he
saying like
meant.
with the new expansion rules,
Yeah, the rules are different.
like you become more competitive faster. So at least it's like you're not putting a shit product on the ice right away. Like you're at least somewhat competitive. So I think that's one. Two, I think this time I think the NHL really wants stable ownership. Like people that are just gonna stay and like invest into the team. I think that was a big issue with the Thrashers also.
Okay,
If I'm not
so we'll
mistaken,
go
they
to a
got sold
city.
like 2 years in.
Well, so we'll go to a city where we've tried it twice, didn't work. We weren't stable. We'll try again because third time.
Third time's a charm in Atlanta.
I
I
guess.
still don't get it. I still don't get it. Why Atlanta?
I've been to Atlanta. It's a very nice city. I've toured it. There's a lot to do there. The College Football Hall of Fame, the Olympics in '96. They had the Olympic set up there. The CNN Tower. I checked Mercedes-Benz Stadium there too. There's a lot to do in Atlanta, but
The
it's
airport's
not.
a bitch to navigate, though.
Oh yeah, no, you're not wrong about that. But
Oh,
the
my
issue
Lord.
with Atlanta is outside of college sports and maybe football, they're not a big sports fandom.
For the Hawks.
Like
Right.
the Hawks aren't that exciting. Like no one. I mean,
No,
the
but I mean
Braves is
historically
so-so.
though, like there's been eras where the Hawks have been pretty damn good.
But even then, the fans didn't really come. Like they've never had a stable fan base in Atlanta with the Hawks. The Braves, you can talk me more into because the Atlanta Braves have always been pretty damn good for the most part. They just won a World Series, 4 years ago, I think. So Atlanta at least has that going for them. So it's not. I don't want to say it's a terrible sports market. Maybe I should have rephrased that originally, but I don't think it's as strong of a market as Bettman wants to make it believe because it doesn't interject with every sport.
It seems forced to me. It's
Mm.
just this whole thing, but talking about Atlanta again, just seems like they're trying to force it to work,
Yeah,
and it's not going to work.
I don't get it either, man. I really don't.
That's how I see it. Anyway, I don't think you're putting a square peg in a round hole. You've done it twice. Maybe the hole's a little squarer after the first two times, but I don't think it's a perfect fit. And I just wonder why they want to try that again.
Yeah, no, look, I 100% agree. Like, look, sometimes hockey's just not for certain places. Like, it's just
Right.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like,
That's why I think Milwaukee'd be a great place. I know it's not population wise the biggest city, but I mean Wisconsin's always been a hockey state.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing with Quebec City, right? It's not the biggest city, but the interest is there.
yeah. Well,
right?
Winnipeg ain't even that big of a city, and
But the
they gave that a shot.
So look at Winnipeg. The second time it worked, but now if
but
Winnipeg didn't work the second time, would they
Yeah.
go a third time? No, guarantee you they wouldn't. So why Atlanta?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of other
money.
I'm trying to think of other United States markets that are smaller that have kind of worked, and I don't know. Would you count Carolina, Raleigh? Maybe.
I wouldn't consider that a big market. I think that's a smaller market.
Yeah, I mean,
What?
I can't really say Tampa's a small market because it's a big city. I don't know if I count Florida because it's Miami, and I'd say
Mm.
Miami's a pretty big city, even if it's not a big hockey market.
So, in other words, kind of, there's not really a place, but they really want to expand, so they'll force it in Atlanta.
Yeah, 'cause I think
Like I said, I think there's just better options than Atlanta. Like if we just went over Nordy, I think was bang on. I think Wisconsin would be a cool idea. Putting one in Milwaukee, like the Bucks actually have a pretty good fan base too, and that's not even that. Like basketball isn't probably even the primary sport in Milwaukee. Imagine you bring a hockey team there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Place would erupt.
Put it in like a state that actually likes hockey and has the weather. And
I'll give you a nice little dart throw that I literally just thought of now. How about Boise, Idaho? North.
I have no idea what kind of population though. Like how small.
Boise's the capital of Idaho. I know it's not.
Is that saying much?
yeah.
But
That's not really saying much.
But I mean, it is. I'll say this: it's north, a lot of snow there. I mean, they don't have any pro teams. You could throw a dart throw with it. I mean, I don't know, just throwing shit against the wall. Maybe not Boise as much, but like,
Well,
I think there's other options is a good argument at this.
North Dakota wouldn't be bad.
Somewhere in North Dakota, no?
I'm crazy about the college team.
Who?
North Dakota.
I don't know if you can get a pro sports.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like a populated state in the country.
Anyways, they'll put it in Atlanta to avoid, another one in Canada.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
is
look, they're not. Look, I personally think they're not bringing another team in Canada. I think that we're done. Maybe Quebec gets one, maybe, but I even doubt that. Because look, at the end of the day, and this is, in a way, it makes sense because it's like you look at it this way. If you, and I think I've said this before, but like you put a team in Quebec, how many new fans are you getting? Not many. You put a team in Atlanta, you put a team in Houston, you put a team in Kansas City, wherever. How many new fans are you getting? You're getting a fuck ton of new fans. Because maybe people that never watched hockey before will start like becoming fans of that team or whatever. So you'll probably get a few 100,000 more fans like that'll start following hockey. Whereas you put a team in Quebec, it's just those guys, the fans that used to be Nordiques fans that became either Montreal fans or
they'll go back.
Whatever, they'll go back, and so you're not gaining any new traction.
Okay, but you put a team in Atlanta, you're not guaranteed anything really, fan base wise. You put a team in Quebec, and you've got a guaranteed fan base and fans that love the team. I think I'd rather have that guaranteed fan base.
Yeah,
I got an interesting
but
one
you don't
too.
have new fans. That's the issue.
You will have. You got young people. You got to play for do stuff that attracts young people and families. You'll get new fans.
Eric mentioned something interesting about that new fan base. How about a province in Canada that doesn't have a team? How about you put one in Saskatoon? They don't have any teams in that.
It's Saskatchewan, and
no, they're not
big enough.
Wow, that was quick. Everyone shot that.
They don't have cities big enough.
No, it's like Saskatchewan is like Canada's North Dakota. Like you're not putting a team there.
Listen, I don't know Canada's geography.
The Rough Riders. That's about it.
Take your word for it. I was just looking for like a province that didn't have any. So.
Yeah, but it has to be a province that has cities that are big enough to have it too, and that's a big problem in Canada. That's the biggest problem in Canada is the population where you would put these teams either already has one or two teams there, or or the other provinces, they just don't have the population in dense enough anywhere.
Honestly, in Canada, it's either you go back to Quebec or you put like a second team in somewhere in Ontario.
Yeah,
that's
is Saskatoon like Dragon territory?
What?
Is Saskatoon like Dragon territory? Like there's nothing out there?
No, there's stuff out there. Just they don't have any big cities. Like, and it's the prairies.
You see for like miles in certain areas. Like if you're on a road, it's that flat.
So that means Dragon territory.
If you're in the prairies and you're married and your wife leaves you, you can probably watch her go for a couple of days with binoculars. So flat. It's an old joke. before they had cars.
No, but I mean it is like you can literally you
You're
could
not
probably
wrong.
see scat like you could probably
Thank
stand
you.
like just like inside the border and see Saskatoon, however far away it is because it's so flat.
Hey, look, my cousin standing on his roof.
Oh my god! What was the wormhole I just opened?
That was a wormhole.
But I mean, I know what I mean. The problem is though, again, it's not big enough. But like no Halifax, but I don't think Halifax is big enough.
No,
It's not, and
no.
I've done this before on a channel like a few years ago when I had a lot of Halifax people too, and they would love to have a team, but they would say too, it's not. You probably don't have
Yeah,
the
Halifax isn't big
population,
enough.
No, you don't have the population or the corporate support to have a team there.
and that's another point, right? Corporate support's a big thing, and that's probably why they're not looking at Canada and they're looking in the States because it's all about money, and
Yeah.
you know it's what it
And
is.
that was another reason why they don't want to go to Quebec either. They think there's not enough corporate support in Quebec City either.
I would
So,
say they're probably right.
yeah, so that's why again in Canada, if you're gonna put another team, it's either gonna be in another part of Ontario or
It's got to
that's
be
it.
Ontario. It
Fuck
really
it, we're
does.
pushing New Brunswick. We're
No.
doing New Brunswick.
No, but
God.
seriously, it's Hamilton is probably the place. But Hamilton tried a few times, really tried, and Toronto won't cede their
No,
right.
they won't allow it. No.
To be fair, I just googled it. New Brunswick has a population of 750,000.
The whole province.
The whole
of New Brunswick.
province.
That's the whole problem.
Fuck it, they represent the whole province.
Yeah, but you're not they're not going to travel from all over the place to one spot. for the
Well,
whole
make
province.
them.
Jesus,
They're not putting a team in New Brunswick.
I'm
they're
just
not.
having fun with this relocation.
might as well
talk, though.
PEI. Why not PEI then?
That's it.
The real answers here are Houston, Kansas City,
Mm.
Milwaukee, as Nordy mentioned, Quebec City,
Portland.
Portland.
Yeah,
I said
Portland's
Portland.
a
Portland,
good
Yeah.
Oregon would be bad.
I said Portland.
I do think Kansas City is an option, though. Apparently, they have they love hockey down there. They've got the population. They've got money. Kansas City's probably a good
I do
option.
wonder how many Blues fans, though, you could steal. That would be interesting.
St. Louis is
True.
on the other side of the
St.
state.
Louis.
though.
Maybe you're creating a nice instant rivalry there too.
That's it. Yeah, 100%.
It's kind of like Pennsylvania, where because Pittsburgh and Philly are on opposite ends of the state. It's the same thing with Kansas City and St. Louis in Missouri.
Well, Kansas City is technically in Missouri. Yeah, you're right. You could do that.
Or no, that's where Arrowhead and the I forget the name of the ballpark where the Royals play, but they're in the Missouri side.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd rather Atlanta's got 2 strikes. Kansas City had 1. It was in the 70s. It's
Yeah,
a
that's-
long time ago. I think you can say, well,
They
you
ended
know,
up becoming the
doesn't mean that
Devils,
much.
right? If I'm not
Houston has some history with Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe played there for the Houston Aeros with his kids. There's some really good hockey history there. That
And
I
instant
think you
rivalry
can
with the
build on.
Dallas Stars.
I'm just saying, so I think you can build on. Well, but you know, I think both cities are big enough to have a team.
Oh, yeah.
Dallas
for
and
sure.
Houston,
Mhm.
for sure. So, you know, and there's a lot of money down there too. So it's why I question why Atlanta doesn't make sense. 2 strikes, and they're from like a backward state as well. Sorry, people who live in Georgia.
well, Atlanta itself isn't backwards, but yeah.
No, but the state is.
All right. So, yeah. So, I guess any more thoughts on Atlanta expansion?
Yeah, don't fucking go there.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's just
Rick
gonna
was short to the
it's
point.
gonna be a waste of money because I guarantee you, if they try it in like 3 years' time, they're gonna have to move again. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. If they're not a championship caliber team, they're not getting attendance. That's what happened last time. So there's that. That's all I got to say. Let's move on.
All right. So, yeah. So, the finals are still going on. And the Panthers just took the 3-2 lead in this series, putting Edmonton on the edge for tomorrow night's game. So, what are we thinking, boys? Alex, I'll start with you. Your thoughts so far? What's going on?
I'll say if you tell me who has been the better team in this series, it's pretty apparent it has been Florida. I looked up a crazy statistic. I think Edmonton's only led for like a little over 20 minutes of the entire series. It's something wild like that. Edmonton, 2 of their 3 wins, I believe, came in over. 2 of their both of their wins came in overtime. Florida has 2 of their 3 wins being substantial victories and 1 being in overtime. The difference so far has been finally what I was saying about Edmonton until this round. Their depth is not showing up, and their goaltending has been lackluster. Skinner has been a nervous wreck in net. Not that it's been all his fault. And they're not getting anything from their depth. That's
no secondary.
I didn't think they were going to go far to begin with this year. The fact that they even got to the finals is crazy. However, I'm not writing them off yet. Because
Please write them off. Please, because maybe they'll win. Once you write them off and start pushing them, maybe we got a chance.
Bird, you were so lucky that Edmonton won that game in overtime last week when you jinxed fucking Picard.
I said that they could come back down 3-0 in the second period. Now you guys say, "Oh,
and then you said, Pickard's been phenomenal and he's been perfect." And then Rick went, "You son of a bitch! Don't you jinx him!" And then they scored, and Rick went, "This motherfucker."
When did that happen? What game was that? Game 4?
No,
he didn't allow any game 4.
Yeah, it had to be game 4 because I was alone for game 5.
But he didn't alone. Oh no, wait! He did the very last one in the last 20 seconds. You're right. My bad. But yeah, I think Florida has been the better team. I don't feel great about my Edmonton pick, but I'm sticking with my Edmonton pick. So
why?
Well, why? Should I swap out?
Yeah.
No. I'm not gonna. It's a win-win for me. Either I'm right and I picked it right, or I'm wrong. The Flyers pick moves to 31. So
some go
picking
over there.
Edmonton in 7 still. It's
somebody live near him. Do you live near him, Matt?
Like half an hour.
Well, it's worth it. Go drive over and give him a shot in the head there.
Rick, this isn't the Habs I'm wishing against. It's you Oilers. You don't have your first round pick.
I don't know. Just want to be right about something in these playoffs.
You were good last year at it, Rick. Let someone else be
You're perfect, so I'd like to continue that. Although I can't. I mean, it's done. It was horrible this year. Okay, so move on to Rick because, why not? I going into the series, I predicted Florida in 6 or Edmonton in 7. It looks like I'm going to be right in Florida in 6. It looks like I'm going to be right either way, although that's not true. It could go, Edmonton could win, and then Florida could win in 7. I think what Alex said is kind of right. Edmonton's got no secondary scoring, and their goaltending has been shit in this series. And if it was not that way, this is a different series.
Oh, for sure.
All right, Matt, what do you think, buddy?
No, I agree. I think Edmonton's holes in net are starting to show a little bit. I also got to give a lot of credit to Brad Marchand. Honestly, I think he's probably the Conn Smythe pick right now.
Yeah.
It's a 2-horse race. It's him or Sam Bennett.
Who?
Him or Sam Bennett.
Okay, but no, that's fair enough. But I'll give you this: it's been Marchand more than Bennett, in my opinion.
I think Marchand more this
spectacular.
Series. I think Bennett more in the playoffs. Bennett has 15 goals. 15 in the entire playoffs.
That's true. No, so you're right. No, that's true. So so it's between them.
It's a 2-horse race.
If Florida wins Game 6 and then Marchand scores the winning goal, it's Marchand.
Oh yeah, then I could probably agree with that.
Yeah, no, also the depth. That's I'm sorry, but I'm trying to remember what pod it was. I'm pretty sure it was Daily Face Off that I was listening to, and I think it was James Gregor, but I can't remember. But he was arguing basically before the series that if you look at the lineups, if you look at the lines 1 through 4, that Edmonton is technically deeper because they have more talent on their fourth line, and that because they have Corey Perry, I think what is it, Yarn Krook or whatever. So where compared to as Florida has AJ Greer and they have Gastovich and
but they've been playing pretty good and physically been overpowering Edmonton.
Exactly. And the thing is, so if you want to really look at like talent level 1 through 4, I guess you could kind of make a case that Edmonton has the more talented players on every line. But then again, you look at Florida's third line is Lusterainen, Lundell, and Brad Marchand.
That's ridiculous.
That could be some teams' second lines. And on really bad teams, that could be a first line almost.
Yeah, it's true. I'm bad.
You know? So it's like, okay, fine. Like you may have like a couple better players here and there, but like, I'm sorry, you don't have a third line like Florida has. And their fourth line, yeah, maybe they're not as talented as your fourth line, Edmonton. But you know what? You know what I bet they're gonna do is they're gonna kick your ass harder than you're gonna kick theirs.
Yeah.
That's Florida's game. And right now, Edmonton just doesn't have an answer for it.
No, I think bottom line on that, Edmonton's chances really went out the window when Zach Hyman got hurt. It just took a little bit of time for that to catch up to them. That's what I think we're seeing.
You know, I will say this. Edmonton in the first game tried playing Florida's game of being physical and out hitting them. Because if you watch that game, they were laying the body. Even Rick, your dog even agrees with me. They were laying the body with them. But then as this series has gone on, the wear and tear has shown more on the Oilers than the Panthers. That Panthers team, I don't know what it is, but they have this fifth gear in terms of just beating the tar out of you and just keep coming wave after wave after wave after wave. It really is something. I said it at the beginning of the playoffs. I didn't think Florida. I thought fatigue would set in for Florida just based off of that physical nature that they play, which is why I picked Tampa to beat them in the first round. It's impressive what they're doing. Let me ask you, usually it's 3 championships for a dynasty, but is Florida a dynasty to win this?
No.
Not yet?
No.
It's usually 3, so I agree with that.
3 or more.
But
They
I'll say
did make
this.
the finals 3 years in a row, though.
And
That's why I mentioned that.
And coming from the team I like, it's 4 or more, but that's me.
3. It's 3. I'm sticking with that. 3 is a dynasty.
Usually
3 in
in
the span of
5
5
years.
or plus years.
All right, I'll go. I'll allow that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because it's like in today's game with with the parity that there is and the amount of teams that there are, and with a salary cap, it's so hard to have a dynasty. It really
even 3 years is hard.
Yeah, so it's like, look, what Chicago did was impressive because they got their 3 cups in 5 years. So I consider Chicago a dynasty.
Yep.
But Tampa, do we consider Tampa a dynasty? No.
It's the same boat as Florida.
Exactly. They went 3 years in a row, 1-2. But also then do we I don't know about you guys, but do you consider Detroit a dynasty? Like that mid to late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh yeah.
It was 3 and 5 years, wasn't it?
They won 97, 98, 2002, and then again in 28 and 08, if I'm not mistaken.
No, then it's not.
No. You know who's a dynasty? The New Jersey
gap between 97 and 98.
Didn't New Jersey only do theirs 3 and 6 years?
New Jersey was 95, 2000, and 2003.
Oh, okay. This is a little more spread out than disregard.
Spread out. But then again, they were super competitive and always were right there.
They're the only fucking reason Lindros didn't win a cup.
Yeah.
Damn you, Scott Stevens.
Yeah, so that's the good thing.
Shut up.
Okay, so basically, then the only dynasty after, let's say, the Oilers would be Chicago.
Chicago.
That's it.
That's it.
We don't consider any other dynasty after that.
Nope.
Or in between or nothing. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
fair. It's fair. That's fair.
No,
Chicago's a dynasty. Florida has if they win this one, Florida has the chance to become one over the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
They win another one.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be an interesting offseason for them to see who they can keep because Sam Bennett's up, Brad Marchand's obviously up, Aaron Ekblad's up. I think they can keep one of them if they're really lucky too, but I doubt it. Probably just one. So which one? Marchand's most likely gone.
No,
he's
he's
going to
gone.
hit free agency and go to the highest bidder. So I don't think it'll be him. So then they look at the situation. Which one do you prioritize more, Sam Bennett or Aaron Ekblad?
Bennett.
Sam Bennett.
Bennett's staying.
Bennett
I don't
too.
think Bennett's going anywhere.
Didn't you read where they are working on, if not have the basis?
Yeah, 8x8,
for
I think, right?
Yeah,
Contract.
I heard the
for
8 by
both.
8
for
by 8,
both.
8 by 7.6, something like that.
Yeah, but I heard Ekblad as well. They're going to sign.
Yeah, I don't
Ekblad
think they can
also.
afford both unless they move some
I
pieces.
think they,
I'm
I
just
think they
saying
could.
what I
I did
read.
the math at one point. I think they could.
They're working on it. They're talking
Yeah.
to both players though. So Marchand's probably going elsewhere. I'm going to say
he's gone.
Toronto offhand.
Honestly, I think whoever pays him the most. That's what the big talk has been. Is whoever
what
the
I've heard
highest
too,
bidder is.
You think he's going just for the money?
Yep.
Yeah, if he wins another cup, he's got two. He doesn't, and he's got a chance at one more big payday. I mean, if there are two teams, one's garbage and one's good, that offers him the same amount, probably go to the good team. But
Are you saying he's that shallow? That doesn't matter?
that's what the
It's just
reporting
money?
has been
Yeah.
from Elliot Friedman, that he's going to likely go to the highest bidder.
I think he was so underpaid for such a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
another
basically
reason.
now, it's like Alex said, if Florida wins the cup, he's gonna have 2 cups in his pocket. So what
He's
else does he?
surefire Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but is that all it is? Playing hockey is just for the money? I don't think so, and I don't think Brad Marchand's that type of a player.
Well,
It
I
all
don't think
depends.
he's going to go somewhere just for the money.
I mean, I think if he got a payday prior, a legitimately good one, I'd probably agree with you more, Rick, because he'd already have that. But he knows this is his last chance to cash in to some degree.
Okay, but the performance he's having right now this year, he's getting a good payday no matter where he goes. So he could, if he decides, okay, this team's talking to me, I'll go there. He's going to get signed for good money. Is a million or less going to make a difference to him in his life? No, as opposed over being happy where he's going for 2 or 3 years. I'm sorry, I don't think he's going just for the money. I think he's going to go where he wants to play.
No, I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go to the highest bidder that's actually a decent team.
That's a
like
team
he's
where
not gonna
he
go to
wants
Chicago.
Like where he wants to go. He's not just gonna go. San Jose is gonna give me $10 million. I hate San Jose, but I'm gonna go there for the money. No, that's not gonna happen. That's what I'm saying.
But basically, I'm saying is like, let's say Carolina, Toronto, and I don't know what team C offers you. Like, let's say Toronto's offering you 7, Carolina's offering you 7.5, and then I don't know, whatever team B's offering you 8. Well, maybe he'll go to, let's say, Carolina, because you know what, like they're offering me 7.5, so and they're a good team,
If it's those 3 teams, my opinion is going to Toronto. Why? Because he's already said Toronto was his team growing up.
I think he's also had fun poking Toronto too. So I don't know.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be the ultimate burn? Is he goes to win something with Toronto, he'll be a hero there, a team that he had total dominance over, and then he'll go there and he'll be a hero in that city.
Where I have a feeling he ends up?
Well,
I think the Kings are a good possibility for Marchand.
Kings
Kings have some cap space too. They got over $21 million to work with, and they already have 12 forwards and 7 defensemen under contract. So money isn't an issue with them. They can make it work. I think the Kings would be a very good landing spot for him.
The only thing is, I don't know. Like, again, this is my opinion. I've never heard anything, but like, I don't know if he's gonna want to go out west, because he has his family's established in Boston and everything. I don't know if he's gonna want to move his whole family cross country. That's why I'm thinking he's gonna probably stay in the East, but like probably the highest bidder in the East. But also, one thing that worries me, like, the thing is, like, Marchand's playing great in these playoffs. Amazing. He's having a spectacular playoff. The only thing I kind of see maybe happening is because, like, look, he's playing on a third line right now. He's playing on a shot, like, so it's like, if you're a team that, like, okay, we're gonna sign Marchand, but like to play on our first line, it's like, is he gonna have that kind of production on our first line?
He's more of a second line talent at this stage. Yeah,
like, he's 37 years old, like he's getting up there. So that's why he fits perfect on a team like Florida, and he's able to do what he's doing. because like we've all said it before, when you get into the playoffs, you're usually your first line cancels each other out, your second line cancels each other out. It's all about that third line. It's all
And
about your
that's the issue with Edmonton right now.
exactly. So like he's fit super well in that third line. So he's getting like I don't want to say it's sheltered minutes because he's still playing, but like there's a
Mhm.
difference between playing on a third line, going up against third line competition, and going up against second or first line competition also.
True.
So that's why it's in a way it's I don't want to say buyer beware because I think he'll be great anyway. But like if you're expecting point per game or over point per game Marchand, like as a first or second liner, I don't think he's gonna be that anymore.
No, if you're signing him to be a first liner, you're making a mistake. He's not.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
not.
he's a second line talent still.
Second
Listen, I
line or-
conceded that to Cam. He was absolutely right that he had more in the tank and he was worth the money that they could have invested in him. But he's still not first line. I agree with Eric makes a very good point with the sheltered minutes argument, him being on the third line right now.
Because you know what he kind of reminds me of a little bit is like Phil Kessel when he was on the Penguins. Because like you have a player like he was making good money, but you put this guy on a third line because you got your like first and second line like set. You put this guy in your third, it's a luxury. And then and he was killing on a third line because like he's going up against obviously lesser competition than himself.
But that's when they put him there. Didn't they sign him as he was supposed to be the guy in Toronto when they signed him, which was a big mistake.
Yeah, that was no, but that's it. But then once he got to Pittsburgh, when they traded him to Pittsburgh, and they're like, okay, cleared. And you know what though? In his defense, he actually played really well in Toronto. It's just that they had a really shit team around.
Right, and he's not the guy.
No, he's not. No.
He's a guy that goes with that, but he's not the guy, and that was a mistake they had there.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
He did not like it there, and he did not like the media there.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so let's do like a little quick Conn Smythe. Matt, who do you got for the Conn Smythe?
Matt?
Naughty, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted, Matt. Matt?
Let's come back. There he is.
Like I said a little earlier, for me right now it's Brad Marchand.
Marchand? Okay. Rick?
Yeah, I gotta say, I think it's gonna be Brad Marchand. But what I said to you guys, did we talk about it on the show earlier? What I said was, if what did I say? Bennett or Marchand? Yeah, if Marchand scores like the game winner, or like a really important goal in the final game of the series, I think it's Marchand.
Okay, Alex?
So based off of today, I'm going Sam Bennett. I listen, the Conn Smythe is for the entire playoffs, not just the final. And Sam Bennett has been the best player for the Florida Panthers in the playoffs so far. And it's not taking anything away from Brad Marchand. If there was a second place Conn Smythe award, I'd probably give it to him. But Bennett has been spectacular. Like I said, you can't ignore the fact that he's put up 15 goals. He's had a lot of clutch moments for them. Yeah, he was a big reason with them turning around in Toronto. I mean, you can talk about Bennett all you want to, about the type of player he is, but the crap he pulled against Toronto turned that series around with the goaltender, blanking on the same Stollarts. So say what you want about him as a character, but he's been the heart and soul of that Florida Panthers team. So I have to say Sam Bennett right now.
Can I just say this before Eric? I think either way, whoever wins the series, the Conn Smythe's going to someone from Florida.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay. I think if it depends how these last two games go. If Edmonton does win, I think they'll still give it to McDavid because he's still putting in a really impressive play. He's got over 30 points.
He does. No, listen, I know that's true.
So I'd still give it to McDavid, but I will say this year, if Florida wins, it will not be from a losing team like last year. No. This time it'll definitely go to Florida.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And I agree. Actually, I agree with Alex. I think Sam Bennett is going to win the Conn Smythe. Just his goals, like the amount of goals he scored, and like Alex said, all the intangible that he brings to the physicality, the disruption, everything he does. Like it honestly, for me, it's hard because like Marchand, like all the game-winning goals, he's had a couple overtime goals. Like he's had a few really clutch goals and like performances, but I think overall, I I think it's gonna go to Sam Bennett. But if Edmonton does end up coming back and winning this thing, then I'm going. Yeah, it's gonna be McDavid.
Okay, that's fair enough. But I'll say if Marchand gets the winning goal, it's going to him. Otherwise, Bennett.
If you know what, yeah. If next game like Marchand has like this crazy game and like you said, like puts up like a goal or two and it's the game winner, then yeah, you're gonna see the voters
Then you
apply.
take clutch factor in. Yeah, I could maybe agree more with that.
Yep.
All right, so we got a little bit of news this week. We had a trade. Oh shoot, I should have had that in front of me, but anyway, Chris Kreider ended up in Anaheim. That's the gist of it. That's all we need to know. Chris Kreider ended up in Anaheim. I don't know if Alex, you have the full trade in front of you. I don't.
I have the YouTube clip from our channel. If you would like for me to play that, I can do that.
You can do that.
Do it.
All right, give me a quick 20 seconds as I pull it up. Hold on 1 second. I have the short. All right, here we go. Hold on. I always look for a reason to be able to play these as I do a little share screen. Hold on 1 second. From Don't Puck with Media here with some kind of late breaking trade news. First big trade of the new offseason, well, sort of offseason. But anyway, the New York Rangers are trading away longtime veteran Chris Kreider and a 4th-round pick over to the Anaheim Ducks. In return, they will receive a 3rd-round pick and prospect Kerry Terrence. Stay tuned for more, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe. That's the most important part. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. We always appreciate that.
Yeah, we haven't done that here tonight.
But
yeah, if you're listening, do it.
So, what do we want to know? What do we think of that?
What do you think about the trade? Let's start with Rick. What do you think about the trade, Rick?
I'm glad Kreider's only going to be 2 games a year instead of 4.
3.
Oh, 3 or
You
4.
play him 3 times a year, not 4, because you're not in the same division.
Sometimes 4 though for teams in that division. No, it's only 3. Oh, I think
out of conference division team, out of division conference teams is always 3.
Oh, it used to be 4. Oh well.
You know,
it's a good trade for Anaheim. Good trade for New York. They dumped salary. That's what it was about, I imagine. So yeah. So I don't really like Kreider, so the farther away the better.
Awesome. All right, Matt, what do you think about the trade?
Yeah, I mean, I again don't really know what Chris Drury's doing, but I know Kreider kind of wanted out, and I know he wanted to go and play for the coach over there, who I will not name. Yeah, I mean, it's a trade. Like I don't.
It's a trade.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know.
What a
cool. Kreider's out in the West.
We need to put that on a T-shirt. You know, just have a picture of Matt with the most bland look on his face ever. Just says, "It's a trade."
It's a trade. Shrugging your shoulders.
No, but I mean, it's not like Anaheim's really going to be competitive still. Like,
Well, it depends. They got enough money to maybe be competitive.
Not that part. It's not necessarily to do with the Kreider trade. It's what else they could be doing this offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know. I saw it. I was like, oh, okay. Cool. Whatever.
All right, Alex?
Yeah, can Verbeek stop fucking bailing out Chris Drury and his garbage-ass contracts? That's my fucking take on this. Why does this dude keep bailing Drury out of his fucking dog shit contracts? First friggin' did Trouba last year. Now he did Kreider, who's coming off a 30-point year. Yeah, he had 22 goals. I'll give him that. But he's still only at 30 points. I think we've seen the best days of Chris Kreider, personally. He's going to be 34 at the beginning of next year. He already is 34, actually. He's going to be close to 34 and a half at the beginning of next year. And I'm not saying he's got nothing to give, but I think he's at most a 45-point guy at this stage. Like, realistically, why are we bailing out Chris Drury again? Does Drury have some blackmail in his Ducks?
Maybe they played
do this twice.
Maybe him and Verbeek played together somewhere, and they're like good friends. And
it's not like you could if the Ducks were interested in Kreider as a player, all right, I get it. Maybe make a move if you feel like you still see value in the guy. That's not the issue I had. The issue is the Ducks got nothing back of value in return. Like, they didn't even get a good pick. They exchanged a third and a fourth. They actually went down in the value of the pick, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And they actually gave up a prospect. So, I mean, it was obvious Drury was desperate to get rid of Kreider. Sounds like he wants to get rid of Zibanejad next, maybe even Keandre Miller. They want to do a little bit of a reshaping in New York. So,
but it's not
I'm
like
going to go up to him and say, I want some value if you want me to take Kreider off your hands. I want at least a second-round pick minimum.
Okay, but I mean, it's not like they gave up much of anything anyway.
It's more the fact that I'm just frustrated. Drury got bailed out of a bad contract.
And you never know. Also, the Ducks might have needed the contract to hit the floor.
They're going to be worrying about the floor this year. They're going to be aggressive, from what I heard. With or without
okay.
Kreider, they would have
still, it's veteran. It's a veteran guy. I can see it. So I don't know. It's a fine trade. Whatever.
My issue, like I said, just I'm sick of Drury getting bailed out of his dog water contracts.
Well, look, what I had heard was again, I don't know if it's true. It's just something I had read. Apparently, there was a market for Kreider, and I think that's why he didn't have to pay to get rid of him, because there were a couple of teams that were interested and were wanting to take the contract. So, because look, at the end of the day, Kreider maybe he's not what he used to be, but he's a good veteran that you could plot on. You're probably best set on a third line, but he could probably be possible in the second.
Guy. I can agree with that.
Power play, still a pretty good net front guy, and at the end of the day, he brings that veteran leadership. And I think for Anaheim, I think that's very important. That's why I kind of liked the Trouba trade for them. And now you bring in Kreider, it's because this is the problem that Buffalo's had the past couple of years. Yeah. You have a bunch of good young talent, but you have no veterans around them to show them the way or to teach them and just to make them a team. It's just you have a bunch of kids running the show. You can't, and I think Anaheim wants to avoid that. That's why they brought in a guy like Trouba. That's why they kept Gudas and gave him the C. Now you bring in Kreider, and like you said, I think they're going to be aggressive in the offseason. I personally believe.
Yeah, I heard that.
I personally believe they're going to sign Marner. They're going to offer him $14 million.
I think they're going to get Ehlers. I think Marner's my pick is Carolina for Marner. I think they get Ehlers as a consolation prize. Is my prediction there.
Who gets what? Say that again.
Marner goes to Carolina, and they get Ehlers as a consolation. Ehlers, shut up! You know I botch names.
I'm thinking of Eller.
Lars. I was thinking the same.
That's what I'm thinking. Lars Eller. I go, what?
Either he added an S on to Lars Eller, or he doesn't know how to pronounce it.
How is that? How is that equal value? Jeez.
No, but it's not the same player. Obviously, Ehlers is obviously not the player Marner is, but he's a good consolation prize. What was getting him is getting a top 6 winger for sure.
Does Carolina have $14.5 million?
Oh yeah, take a look at Carolina's cap space. They got about $30 million to spend. They're buying with money.
Yeah, they got a few guys coming off the books this offseason that frees up a lot of space.
And not only that, with Carolina, they don't have to worry about no freaking sales tax either.
Yeah, okay, but here's something, and it might sound kind of weird, but Carolina's in the South. Mitch Marner's a Jew. He may want to go somewhere else.
Like Anaheim?
Like Anaheim, which is probably going to do a lot better for him.
All right, gentlemen.
On Carolina, I guess Ehlers would be a consolation prize, but at the same time, I don't think Ehlers is a game breaker. I like him. I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
It's just I think he's just more of what they already have. So
I agree.
Yeah. Just
with that being said, gentlemen, I do have to depart. So, gentlemen,
hold on. I gotta go back to a comment you made a second ago, though. Why? Well, how are you equating sales tax?
The tax. You know what I'm talking about.
What? Okay, that's the income tax, not the sales
income tax. Leave me alone. I'm botching everything today. You're only here to correct my mistakes, aren't you?
As soon as you leave, he's leaving.
The income tax. That's what I meant. The income tax. You know what I mean.
Carolina has no state income tax?
No, they don't.
Oh.
They're part of that too.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
Okay. Anyway, gentlemen, before I make an ass out of myself anymore, I do have to depart. So with that being said, you have a good one and have a good rest of the show.
Ciao,
All
ciao.
right. How it going, Alex?
I don't have a setup for just 3, so we'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. Well, anyway, last
And-
little bit of the show.
Yeah.
So apparently, it was reported that this will be Evgeny Malkin's last season with Pittsburgh. So it sounds like Pittsburgh does not intend to sign Malkin after past this season. So, just quick thoughts on that, Rick. What do you see happening with Malkin?
He's going to be playing for another team or go to Europe or Russia. Yeah, I mean, he's never been my favorite guy. At 39, yeah, maybe he retires from the NHL and goes back home. Yeah, what's he going to do? Go to another? Maybe he doesn't want to go to another team. Right? If they're saying, listen, we're not going to sign you, and then said, hey, would you mind if we trade you somewhere? He might say, like, fuck you, and I'll decide what I want to do when the season's over. It might happen. I don't know. Yeah, they'll probably trade him to a contender, and they'll give him a shot to win another cup. And then it'll be up to that team to sign him. So, yeah. I have no idea what teams would be interested and all that, so don't know.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think that's it. He's going to be 39 by the time next season starts. I think his best days are behind him. And look, does he still have some bit of value? Yeah, look, he still put up like an okay amount of points last season. He's not like totally washed or anything. But yeah, no, it's the best thing. Like the best thing for Pittsburgh would to be to trade him by the deadline if he's having at least a half decent season. But like you said, it's up to him. He's got a full move. He could just say, screw it. I'm not moving. Why? Why am I going to move? I got my cups. I'm good here. So,
yeah. And especially if he's thinking, you know what, I'm going to go back home and I'll retire and all that. He might not want to go for like a few months to another team.
Yeah.
It might be like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We'll spend like 2-3 months somewhere else in a hotel for like, no,
for what? It's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck you. I'll go back home.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think, buddy?
No, I agree. I think they try to trade him, but if they don't, yeah, it's probably because he said no, and he's like, I'm just gonna ride this out in Pittsburgh. Like you said, Rick. Like, yeah, I got my cups. I got I've done everything I wanted to do in the NHL, and just ride out the remainder of my contract, and them's the breaks.
If he still has it on, maybe to stay in the NHL, different story. But I mean, at 39, and then he'll be 40, say, for that season, right? So really, does he want to do that? Probably not.
Well,
at 40 to go to a new team, at that he's made plenty of money. He's won cup. Like, does he really need that? I kind of don't think so. So I think Pittsburgh, gets screwed out of that. Any return for him. And then again, how much of a return are you going to get anyway at his age?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think it depends also like how he does next season, right? Like if he's on pace for like a 60-point season or something like that, more or less what he's been doing lately, like I'm sure you can get like a decent return for the guy. Like even if it's just like a first or like something like Marchand got, where it's like a second with the condition that it could become a first if X or whatever is reached.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Look.
Right.
That's it. I think maybe he's I don't know like what his intentions are. I don't know if he wants to go play in Russia and if he wants to go play in the KHL for a season or two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like maybe like there's speculation that Ovi's going after this season also. So
yeah, he is.
Yeah, so does he go with Ovi and like have 1 or 2 more years there?
There you go.
Less games, less stress, less So
yeah, and they make decent money over there too. Yeah. It's not like they don't make money.
Yeah, and look, they've made so much money in their careers where I think it's more of like a...
And that's the truth, right?
Yeah. Where it's
like he's going to be 40. He's going to be 40 for the season after. Really? Like, how much in demand is he going to be? And how much drive is he going to have to want to start on a new team?
No, exactly. I don't see him signing another, like, even like any term contract with any other team. Like you said, too, like he's going to be 40, right? So what team is even going to give him term?
Exactly.
At
Yeah, I
that
mean,
point, yeah.
At that point, he'd be lucky to get like a vet min for like 1 year, right? Like,
Probably, you know. So
I could see maybe like someone shooting him like a 1 year, 2 to 3 million, or like you said, a veteran minimum with a bunch of bonuses attached to it. So
right.
and also good point, right? He's only been with Pittsburgh, right?
Mhm.
So a guy at 40 who's never had to move to a different team. You think he really wants to go to a different team for a year or two? I kind of don't think so.
no, I think if he's gonna move to uproot like his family and his life and everything, it's not gonna be to go to another city in the NHL. I think he goes back home to Russia.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if he has a home there or wherever, like in whatever city that he lives, he'll
Doesn't
probably
he
pay for that
afford-
hometown team and like
If he doesn't have a home there now, he can afford one. That's
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's okay to buy some
I mean,
little
I'm
shack.
sure he honestly probably does because they
he
go.
probably
They
does.
usually
Yeah.
go back there in the off season.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, who
All
cares
right.
really?
So, boys, any final thoughts before we end this?
No.
Rick?
No, not really. Not really. But I hope Edmonton manages to turn it around. Is the only thing. I do hope that. I just don't hold out much hope that they'll do that or that they're able to do that. That's about it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's about it.
All right then. So I guess we've reached the end of the episode.
I guess so.
Yeah. So all right. So to everyone out there listening or watching, hopefully you enjoyed everything you heard tonight. And
Leave
if
a
you did,
comment in
please,
the comment section if you got anything to say about anything that we did say today.
yes, please leave as many comments as you want. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And again, if you liked what you heard, please like, subscribe. It would really help us out a lot, and we really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, that was
And
something we were supposed to do. Yeah, we're trying to get to 250 subscribers. We're only 3 away. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you're still watching at this point, hit that subscribe button and help us get to the 250.
come on, you could do it. It doesn't take much. Just one little finger, boop, and that's it. It's easy as that. Look, it took me like a half second.
Yeah, that's it. Real quick.
All right, boys. So that said, wishing you all a good night. Hockey fam, good night, and we'll see you next time.
Ciao, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
Promise that you'll catch me.